Hi, I'm Celeste Duffy, author of The Ass Backwards Way to Move Forward. Dear poor people, many people ask me if they're middle class. What I say is probably not. Most people don't know what the middle class is. Most people believe that the middle class is what it was when they grew up. And so, what your idea of middle class was when you grow up, that's what you think it is today. But that's not true. So, you're probably not in the middle class. Let's check and see if you are. First, we have to talk about social class. Social class is a way that society identifies people in their relationship to the means and control of production. It tends to be that people who own the means of production or who control the means of production tend to be at the higher end of the social strata, and then people who have no relationship to the means of production and don't own any means of production are on the lower ends of the social strata. So that's just a very broad, commonly understood definition of class. So why is class important? Class is important because what it does is it identifies people, whoever you are, whatever your class is. It identifies you as a member of that class to other members, and it identifies you as a stranger to people who are not in your social class. When you meet people, you're trying to figure out, hey, are we a member of the same class? Do we have things in common? Or am I a stranger to you? Or are you a stranger to me? This is important. It's important that people know these things because different classes have a different set of shared values. That's what makes you a member. You are connected not just by your relationship with the means of production, but you are also connected to that membership because there's a set of shared values that everyone in the class has agreed to. And here comes some of the issues. When you are meeting, dealing in relationship with, working with, going to church with people who are not in the same social class, sometimes you can have friction and tension because the value systems are not the same. So you're trying to determine if that person is a stranger or if you're a member of the same class. Very similarly to, say, people who have a particular religion. It doesn't mean that you don't associate with anyone outside of your religion. You can't work. You can't be friends with, you can't join the bowling league with, everybody has to be a member of your religion. No, but your relationship with people who share your religious values and the tenets of your religion is very different than it is for people who don't. And that's fine. We just have to acknowledge that that is the way people organize themselves in a society. This is not a judgment against doing that. In fact, there's been a lot of benefits to doing things that way, because there's a level of safety that you may feel with people who share those values than with people who don't. So the question is, if people look the same, and they often do nowadays, they look the same. Why? Because poor people share in many ways the exact same material lifestyle as people with more money, people who are wealthy. How can that be? Well, I'll tell you how. That's because of cheap money and the ability to purchase debt. We live in a capitalist society, and basically what we do in our society is we're selling money. We are selling debt. That's what money is. Money is debt. So your ability to go to a bank or a credit card or any kind of lending institution and get money can make you or put you in the same material lifestyle as people who are doing that, but maybe not at the same level of debt. So let me give you an example. You can go into debt to buy education. You can go into debt to buy your home in a particular neighborhood. You can go into debt to buy a luxury car. Foolish as that might be, you can do it, and no one's going to stop you. So you can take cheap money to purchase debt to acquire the same material lifestyle, which you may believe is, quote, a middle class lifestyle, as those who are doing those same things, but they're not doing it at a debt level that you're doing it as. So when they're purchasing their luxury car, they're buying their car outright. When they're purchasing their home, they may not be financing their home. Everybody doesn't finance a home. Poor people think that's true. It is not. There are many people who buy their home. They buy their home outright. Their education, there are people who pay for their education. They are not in student loan debt or other types of educational debt. So just because you have gone into debt to acquire the same material accoutrement as the wealthy does not make you wealthy. So if you want to know how you find out or how we got into this situation, the way we got into this situation is about 50, 60 years ago. We have what I call shifts in the modes of production. And what we did was we decided that instead of being the manufacturers of the world, the producers of goods and services for the world, that we weren't going to do that anymore. We were going to give our manufacturing away to other countries. We're going to let other countries produce the goods and services that we needed. And what we were going to do instead is become the money sellers of the world. And we were going to take on and sell money and buy everybody's debt. So that's what we decided we were going to do. And in doing so, what that happened was it had a huge economic effect on you and me, even if we didn't know it. And this is a long time ago, so we may not have even been born, but it did have an economic effect on our families, our parents, and us. It took people who could have then, this is 50, 60 years ago, who could have been middle class then, were able to derive that middle class status because they were able to earn their income from labor, meaning they could have a certain type of job that would provide them with a certain level of income, and that level of income would make them middle class. When we became the money sellers of the world, that was no longer true. And what ended up happening was the wealthy and the middle class became people who were able to make the leap. They were able to shift from earning their income from labor to earning their income from capital investments. So these are people who now use their capital investments, their dividends, their stock, the money from their real estate, commercial real estate ventures. Those are people who are now, when they go to buy a car, they purchase the car. When they send their kid to school, they pay for the education. When they're living in a home, oftentimes, if not almost always, they purchase the home. That's a very, very, very different thing to be. So you may think, well, I sit in the same seat in the classroom right next to them. Or at the stoplight, we pulled up, we were in the same car. Or on my way home, I wave to so-and-so as I drive by. That may be true, but the question is, are you there because you were able to get there through debt? Or were you able to use the income and the profit from your capital investments to get there? That is the difference between the poor today and the wealthy. That is the difference between the middle class. Those people are now the middle class. The people who are living off their capital investments. That's who the middle class is. So if you're getting up in the morning or at night and you are going somewhere into a place, and at the end of the week or 2 weeks of the month or whatever it is, you get a check direct deposited or in your hand, you are not middle class. You are poor. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, remember to like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification button so you'll know when I drop another video. I am Celeste Duffy, author of The Ass Backwards Way to Move Forward, and this is Dear Poor People.